In this video we're going to look at a fairly common DIY project, how to repair minor damage and holes in plasterboard walls or ceilings. The best method depends on the extent of the damage, so in this video we'll take a look at minor dints, nicks and scrapes, small holes up to 25mm and larger holes. The tools and equipment you'll need are basically the same for all three types of damage. As with all DIY projects, your personal safety is the most important thing.
It's a good idea to have a dust mask and safety glasses handy if you're creating a lot of dust. If you have very sensitive skin or handling anything sharp, you should wear gloves. You'll also need a roll of Gyprock Easy Tape, Gyprock Rapid Patch Compound, a small container and clean water for mixing, a 100mm broad knife, a sanding float and 150 grit sandpaper or a sanding block. If you're repairing a larger hole, you'll also need a piece of Gyprock plasterboard the same thickness as your original plasterboard that's larger than your hole. All these are available in the Gyprock Rapid Repair Kit, which comes complete with easy to follow instructions and is great for holes up to 150 by 150mm. Depending on the size of the hole, you may also need a pencil, a utility knife and a keyhole or plasterboard saw. First, let's take a look at Gyprock Rapid Patch, which can be used to repair all types of damage. Rapid Patch is a fast-setting dry powder type compound that has a working life of around 20 minutes after mixing. So only mix as much as you need and discard the mix once it starts to go hard. For the ideal mix ratio, add 1 cup of Rapid Patch to 150ml of clean water to give an easy to use, creamy consistency. For minor dents and scrapes, where the core of the plasterboard has not been substantially damaged, remove any protruding paint and paper remnants and sand around the damaged area. Completely fill with Rapid Patch compound using your broad knife. Shallow damage should take around 20 minutes to dry and can be lightly sanded, ready for repainting. For deeper dents, a second coat may be necessary and longer drying time may be needed. Apply a second coat covering a larger area than the first. Once that's dry, give it a final light sand. For holes smaller than 25mm in diameter, clean any remnants and sand around the damaged area, then fill with compound using a 100mm broad knife. Allow to dry for around 40 minutes. Sand back if necessary, then apply 1 or 2 strips of Easy Tape to cover the damage. Apply a coat of compound over the tape, overlapping surrounding plasterboard by at least 25mm on all sides. Allow to dry for at least 20 minutes. Sand lightly and apply another coat of compound 25mm wider than the previous one. Allow to dry for at least 20 minutes. Lightly sand, ready for painting. For larger holes, you'll need to patch the hole with a new piece of plasterboard and tape the joints. First, cut a new piece of Gyprock plasterboard slightly larger than the hole. Place the new plasterboard over the hole and draw around it. Mark diagonal lines on the wall. Taking care not to puncture plumbing or cut electrical wiring, cut along the diagonal marks first with a keyhole or plasterboard saw. Then score through the plasterboard liner paper along the remaining marked lines with a utility knife and snap the plasterboard in towards the wall cavity. Use your utility knife to trim through the back paper and dispose of the damaged parts. Cut 2 plasterboard backing blocks about 100mm wide and the height of the hole plus an additional 100mm to allow for the patching compound. Using a small amount of compound, stick the 2 blocks to the inside of the wall to form a frame for your patching piece. Ensure that the cut edges and all adhesive surfaces are clean. Leave to dry for at least 1 hour. Apply compound to the front face of the backing blocks and gently push the new plasterboard into place, ensuring the face is level with the existing wall. Leave to dry for at least 1 hour. Lightly sand any painted surfaces and apply Easy Tape over the joints between the original plasterboard and the new patch. Apply a coat of compound over the tape, overlapping the surrounding plasterboard by at least 25mm on all sides. Allow to dry for at least 20 minutes. Sand lightly and apply another coat of compound 25mm wider than the previous one. Allow to dry for at least 20 minutes. Lightly sand, ready for painting.
If your project calls for large-scale plasterboard replacement, you need to follow the standard plasterboard installation and jointing procedures covered in videos 3 and 4. The next video in Gyprock DIY series, video 8, shows how to fill in a doorway. We hope this video has shown how easy repairing damaged plasterboard can be. Happy patching.